Hi everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar. I'm Tim, and I'm one of the account managers here at Atlassian. Today's topic is going to be ITSM for the modern IT team. What does this actually mean? So today I'll talk a little bit about what I think modern IT looks like, talk about some tactics that you can employ to implement ITSM in your organization, and then we'll talk a little bit about how you should respond to change. At the end, we'll have some time for some Q&A. So let's jump straight into it. It helps to look at what was before. And when I first started, IT really looked like a unified tech stack where you would have a single vendor in the marketplace and everyone would be standardized on that single vendor, like Microsoft Office or Oracle Tools or BMC Remedy, where kind of the IT controlled every aspect and they only had to deal with the singular server. Today, very, very different. Today, we've seen a transition from singular desktops to multiple devices. People are just as likely to have one machine as 3 or 4. Gone are the days of Blackberries, and today we have smartphones. People are used to having information at their fingertips all the time, and we've moved away from singular tool sets. Instead, it's replaced with best in breed, or what that means to me is completely fragmented. Rather than singular tools, people are relying on multiple different vendors for niche things. For example, a marketer might interact with multiple social media outlets like Facebook and Twitter. They might rely on Google Analytics, and they might rely on Marketo or MailChimp or any number of tools to send email. They might talk to their folks with WordPress or off of a small blog, and that's just marketing. And many of the different roles that we have in companies have completely disconnected tool chains, such that it's up to IT to manage how this works without the aid of having a singular stack that you can design a lot of controls around. Because of this, and because of the kind of best in breed mentality, many of these assorted vendors are concentrating on consumer expectations. That is, the marketplace is so fragmented that people are competing on experience and design rather than controls and the ability to enforce things. So as employees get more and more used to using these kind of tools, these fragmented tools, they're relying on or they're very used to having instant feedback and very, very quick turnaround time. Furthermore, the industry is not getting more simple, it's getting more complex. There are 100 different ways now to interact with people rather than the traditional email and phone and kind of broadcast media channels. Everything is getting more complex. And what that means is the people who develop and design those solutions inside your business are going to need better feedback and faster turnaround on that feedback in order to keep the constituents in your company happy. And all this means is, this can be distilled to a single idea, which is you have to move fast. There's a challenge here, though. Moving fast also means, well, sometimes it means being reckless. And if you move fast all the time, then you lose control. Let me take a step back and talk about ITSM. This whole talk is about ITSM, and I haven't even talked about it yet. So what is it? It's a strategic approach for designing, delivering, managing, and improving the way IT is used within an organization. That's a lot of buzzwords all at once. What it really is a bunch of frameworks and a bunch of processes that are designed to describe all of the things that IT teams do. However, you look at this diagram, and I don't know about you, but the feeling I get from the slide is it's slow. It's very heavyweight, and nobody has time for this in the marketplace. I mean, we just spent a lot of time talking about how you have to move fast, 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 and this is slow. I think the true value of frameworks is to provide you with a framework of thinking about things and a common language for what the space is. And using that common language is very, very important in today's marketplace. When you say something like service request to another person who understands ITSM, they already understand what you're talking about. And that's the true power of frameworks. ITSM describes 19 different processes, and this slide only describes some of them. The real power of ITSM, in my opinion, is the fact that it gives you a common language to talk about IT. We're going to focus on 4: service request, incident, problem, and change. We'll start with the intake. That is, these two processes really talk about how your IT organization takes in asks. Let's start with service request. What is this? Now, a service request is simply what other people have to ask of your IT organization. Now, this is the bread and butter of nearly every IT organization. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. These things are like, I need a new laptop, to please reboot the server because I have something to load onto it. These are the external asks of your group. Now, keep going back to what I was talking about before with modern IT. The difference here today is people expect instant gratification. That is, when I have a need, though, I want to interact with IT the way I interact with my own iPhone. I go on the App Store and I download an app and I have a new capability. Now, to give you an idea of how this is done in kind of a real world example, this is Spotify's IT mission statement. That is, they want to be able to provide a personal level of experience to each and every employee. And what it means to them and how they implement this is they want to provide you the same experience that you kind of get in an Apple store, where you show up and you say, hey, I need help. And they give you a time and you go back to the Genius Bar and someone helps you. So in order to do this, they've created a self-help desk where you come and punch in your problem. There's actually a person on staff. It's unfortunately they're behind the sign, so you can't really see them, but they're there to help you log the request that you need, and if they can action on it right then and there, they will. Now, you might be saying you might be saying to yourself, well, Tim, like, you just told me to hire an army, which isn't really a solution. I mean, what we know that today, based on a recent survey of run by Spiceworks and on the state of IT, most companies are not looking to expand their IT to hire an army. They're looking to deliver a bigger and better experience with the same amount of people they had before. So how do you do that? I mean, Spotify may have provided you this kind of concierge level service, but how do you scale that type of experience across? Now, I don't know about any of you, but I mean, I'm a bit of an engineer, and I really don't like asking for help, and I don't think anyone really likes asking for help. It's kind of like a white flag to say, like, I've given up, like, I can't figure it out myself. Before I ask for help, I do what most people do and what most IT people do. I Google it. It's only after I've Googled it and I couldn't find what I was looking for that I ask for help. So one of the ways that you can scale out the delivery of better service is simply make a better Google. Now, knowledge bases are not new. I mean, the 1990s called and want their idea back, but today we have a lot more information, and we have far wider capabilities on being able to capture the information at the source and provide it to people. So what I would say here is, don't boil the ocean. I mean, start simple. Start with doing things that you can measure and implement. So let me tell you another story about Twitter. I mean, Twitter If you know anything about the IT, or I mean, about the tech space, I mean, Twitter kind of came and then exploded in the early 2000s, and they went from basically no people to, I mean, a worldwide presence. And it wasn't the case that they made a killer IT organization overnight, like at the beginning when they were 100 people. At Twitter, it was a journey also. They started with email, which is where most people start with. They started with, I need a thing, email the IT person goes and does it. That doesn't really scale very well, especially when you're going through hypergrowth. But they didn't go all the way to, the very end of the journey immediately. They just added one thing. They went from email to email and then a customer portal so that they could help control the intake of tasks and optimize around it. Eventually, they deprecated email and just went straight to a portal because they found that it gave them better results. At the end of the day, they went all the way to knowledge-based support, where they documented the most common of their issues and integrated it into the whole work stream. So let me give you a closer look about what Twitter has actually done. So this is their portal, and very quickly, someone has a problem with the VPN, and they have a very, very tight form for you to describe exactly the information that the IT professional needs to solve your problem. And as soon as you kind of go further in this form, it links you directly to the knowledge that is most relevant to you, without necessarily having a technician have to contact you, such that you can help yourself rather than wait for the IT person who might be late or whatever call you 45 minutes later. At that point, you're probably saying, I'm done with work. So let's move on to the next thing, which is incident management. What's incident management compared to service request? A service request is people asking IT, hey, I need this. Now, incidents are, it's broken. Something that you maintain or you're responsible for doesn't work the way I want it to. Now, the thing to note about incident management is that what affects one person probably affects lots of people. How do you deal with the huge spike that comes from maybe a system being down? You're going to have everyone in the company saying, hey, the system is down. And that's just lost cycles. I mean, that's lost cycles that you could be using solving the problem. So our advice is over communicate. You should be talking to your customers whenever you can to tell them that you know about a problem. Incidents are like pain in the human body. Pain exists to tell you that something is wrong and you should stop doing what you're doing because it's bad. Like you break your arm, it hurts because maybe you shouldn't use your arm anymore. But after a while, pain's not very useful. You already know your arm is broken and you're a smart person, so why does your arm still hurt after it notified you? So our advice is to use banners and to over communicate to your user base, such that they can know that they can empathize with your team, and they they won't create a new thing because they already know that you know it. It takes time out of their day to report a problem. They're reporting it in the hopes that you can deal with it faster. But if you tell them, hey, I already know, stop talking to me about it. I will tell you when it doesn't work, when it works again. It's a huge way, and it's a huge win for both sides. The customers know that it doesn't work, and they know that you know, and then you get more time to solve the problem on your own. Change management. Now, change management isn't exactly the most cutting edge thing. It's simply recording changes that you're about to make or have made to a running system. However, it's very, very important. It's very important to be able to understand the mutations and changes in a system for troubleshooting. The danger is, because it is such a rote process, it sometimes doesn't get done, as the various different people who are changing aspects of the IT infrastructure, they may not be recording everything. So the best advice that we have is to use some of the lessons that we learn from development. That is, have have the notation and the documentation of changes to the system be automated, especially for the lowest value things. Now, you like development and engineering has had this concept of self-healing for a long time. That is, where systems, when they detect that there's failure, they try to do the basic troubleshooting steps to restore service, like killing itself and restarting it, or the classic turn it off and turn it on again. If we can trust our systems to self-heal and to turn themselves off and turn themselves on again, why wouldn't we trust that when things do that, just feed that information back into your tracking system. Make it such that the documentation of change is just an artifact of work. That is, by doing the turn it off and turn it on again, the systems themselves take care of automating that away. And that way, your people can concentrate on solving the problems rather than making sure that the correct form is sent off to the correct approver. Certainly not advocating that, especially for larger changes, that you don't do the traditional thing. However, for the low-hanging fruit, for the lowest value changes like system restarts and deployment of auditable code, your systems can do that for you. And it's important that you invest in automating away the boring stuff. In closing, let me summarize the key takeaways of this webinar. People expect a consumer-grade experience, and that means moving fast and being directed at exactly what they want. They expect to be able to find information that is perfectly relevant to the problem that they're having. In order to deliver these things, you need to integrate with the development and the business teams that are providing these services and providing the systems that people are using. And in order to do all of that, there needs to be feedback given across all areas, from the people who are handling the incidents to the customers, from the customers to the development teams, and from development teams back to IT. Now, Atlassian does provide a full suite of tools that help you with each of these aspects. And at the heart of this suite is JIRA Service Desk. Thanks for watching ITSM for the Modern IT Team. To learn more about JIRA Service Desk, be sure to check out the product demo by clicking on the top right of your screen. To continue on to QA, click the See What's Next button on the bottom right of your screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.